At the beginning of this season, Clark Kent, also known as Superman, flies to his parents' estate as onlookers cheer him on. When he reaches there, he notices a young boy running through the fields and decides to follow him. When he catches up to the boy, he is surprised to see his own younger version looking at him. Then, everything vanishes, and Clark finds himself on top of a portal where a gust of wind sweeps him up. Once the wind clears up, Clark sees his father, Jor-El, watching him. Jor-El starts talking and tells him that there's another one like him out there. Confused, Clark is about to ask his father what he meant when everything disappears and he wakes up from his dream. On the other hand, Lois Lane wakes up from a nap and finds a sweet note left behind by her boyfriend, Clark. She picks up her phone and tries to call her father, but as usual, he does not pick up. Before she can think much of it, Lois realizes that she is late for a pitch meeting and rushes to the Daily Planet, a news agency where she works as a reporter. Meanwhile, Jimmy, a videographer at the Daily Planet, delivers Valentine's Day cards to everyone at the office and asks Clark what he has planned for Lois. Excited, he tells everyone he plans to buy ramen and watch the sunset from the Daily Planet's rooftop with Lois. Hearing this, another reporter named Kat tells Clark that he needs to come up with something better to ensure that Lois stays with him until the next Valentine's Day. He is about to respond when his boss, Perry, interrupts them. He tells the team that Valentine's Day has been canceled until one of them can deliver a good pitch for him. He then pulls out a news article and shows them that Vicky Vale from the Gotham Gazette has been beating them at reporting every breaking news first. Just then, Lois arrives at the Daily Planet and reveals that she has an idea. She tells Perry that her college roommate Hank handles PR for Star Labs. He has told her about an unusual meteoroid that they have been watching closely for the past 12 hours. If its orbit decays, the meteoroid will crash into Earth. Perry loves the pitch and tells Jimmy, Clark, and Lois to pursue the lead. Not long after that, the three of them arrive at Star Labs, where Lois immediately heads to find Hank. With her gone, Clark turns to Jimmy and asks him what to do with Lois on Valentine's Day since everyone finds his plans boring. Before Jimmy gets the chance to respond, Lois grabs Clark and goes to meet Hank. Jimmy decides to follow them but notices a man named Alex, who had previously used his robotics building talent to help a supervillain almost destroy the Metropolis. Because of this, he is being rejected at Star Labs, as they refuse to accept anyone who has used his talents against them. Jimmy begins to feel bad for Alex since he too felt like he had no space in the Daily Planet until he worked hard and got his own video division. He confronts Alex and tells him that he has to take his future into his own hands and not wait for anyone to choose him. With this, he joins Clark and Lois. When Hank sees the group, he tells them that the meteoroid has disappeared and that its orbit was noted to be erratic. As soon as Clark sees the meteoroid, he recognizes it as his spaceship. He rushes outside with Lois and Jimmy following him. He tells the two of them that the meteoroid Star Labs have been keeping an eye on is part of his spaceship. He confesses that he had a vision earlier about it, but had brushed it off as an odd dream. With this, the group decides that they have to find out what is going on and head to the location where the meteoroid was last seen. When the trio reaches the location, they find that there is nothing out of the ordinary. Clark wonders if what he saw was only a dream. However, Lois and Jimmy are determined to find the spaceship and start looking around. All of a sudden, a strong gust of wind sweeps Clark into it. When it clears, he sees his father and tries to follow him. At the same time, Lois and Jimmy notice that Clark has disappeared and start looking around for him. Their search leads them to the location of the spaceship, and the two of them enter through the opening on top of it. As soon as they get inside, the door closes behind them, trapping them inside. Then, two robots emerge from the closed door and start shooting at them. Unbeknownst to them, Clark too was inside the spaceship. He had been teleported by his father's ghost. Clark begins asking his father questions about him and their planet. Jor-El reveals that their planet, Krypton, was attacked by their adversaries who managed to take everyone down. leaving only Clark and his cousin Kara as the last two surviving Kryptonians. Just then, they hear crashing inside the ship and discover that Lois and Jimmy have gotten themselves into trouble. Lois and Jimmy hide away from the robots. Before they can get discovered by the robots, General Amanda arrives with her agents and kills them. She then instructs her men to collect as much alien tech as they can. During all of this, Lois and Jimmy manage to stay undetected, but this does not last for long as one of the General's men spots Lois. He goes in to attack them but is stopped by Clark, who has shown up as Superman. With Jor-El's help, Clark takes down all of the General's men, but she still manages to escape. Her agent then uses a kryptonite stone to weaken Clark, but Jimmy takes it away, giving him the chance to take down the last of the General's men. It is then that the ship disappears, leaving everyone outside of it. Jor-El and Clark say their last goodbyes, but before his ghost disappears, Jor-El tells Clark that he needs to find his cousin. Her ship's communication beacon had disappeared when she crashed into Earth. He needs to find it in order to find Kara. This episode ends with Clark flying Lois to see the Northern Lights before the end of Valentine's Day. General Amanda prepares coffee for two and takes it to the cell where she has been keeping Sam Lane. As soon as she enters his cell, she tells him that today is the day he is going to talk. Meanwhile, Clark and Lois are strolling down the street while she tells Clark that her father has been missing and that she needs his help tracking him down. Just then, a young boy named Billy recognizes Lois and begs her to ask her friend Superman to help find his father who has disappeared from prison. At the Daily Planet, Perry stops Jimmy, claiming that he needs to pay more attention to his interns. Not long after this, Lois and Clark reach the prison and they discover it is empty. Clark uses his X-ray vision to look around to see if there's any secret door, and he manages to find a wall that blocks his vision. The two of them climb the elevator shaft to reach the closed-off area. To their surprise, they discover that the General has been using this area to conduct experiments on humans using alien tech to create super soldiers. Lois claims that this area belongs to Task Force X. Hearing this, Clark realizes that he might find the communications beacon hidden inside the secret facility, where they notice the General questioning Sam Lane. As soon as Lois sees her father being questioned by the General, she tells Clark that they need to hurry up and find him. During this, the General asks Sam about the location of the secret warehouses where he was keeping alien tech hidden. She claims that if she had any tech, she wouldn't be asking him anything. He reminds her that he still holds the upper hand over her. This does not sit well with the General, and she tells him that even though he knows more than she does, she knows how to break him, reminding him of the fact that she knows where Lois lives. As soon as the General leaves the cell, Lois enters it wearing a hazmat suit. However, when Sam recognizes her, he angrily asks her why she came to rescue him when she knew how dangerous things could get. Instead of praising his daughter, he claims that he had things handled. They meet up with Superman in the middle of a hallway, but Sam is not happy to see him since he thinks that he should not have let his daughter come to his rescue alone. As he starts reprimanding Lois, Clark jumps to defend her, but this does not sit well with Lois, who takes him to the side and tells him to not argue with her father. He tells her that the only reason he is arguing with her father is because of the way he talks to her. Lois calms down when she hears this, but when the two of them turn around, they find that her father is missing. On the other hand, the General is not happy with her agents since they've managed to lose Sam Lane. She orders all of them to find him and eliminate him. All of a sudden, Sam arrives behind her and presses a button that causes a door to appear between her and her agents. As the General becomes trapped, she calls out to her men and tells them to break through. Agent Martin, who had been modified by alien tech, uses his powers to burn through the door and starts chasing Sam. Lois and Clark spot him rushing towards them. The three of them enter through another door and lock it behind them to buy themselves some time. This is when the trio notices that the room is full of the missing prisoners. Billy's father comes up to them and tells them that the General has been conducting experiments on them to create an army of super soldiers. All of a sudden, Agent Martin breaks through the door. Clark makes everyone leave and stays behind to fight the super soldier off. Back at the Daily Planet, Jimmy gets tired of dealing with his young interns and tells them that they are going on a field trip to learn more about videography. He then takes a boat to the secret facility to try and help his friends. At the same time, Clark fights off Agent Martin and spots the communications beacon. He takes it and goes outside to help the rest of the prisoners escape. There, he finds that the general has surrounded them and is telling Sam that she had to kill a few humans for the greater good of humanity. Clark breaks all of their weapons and destroys the facility to stop her from experimenting again. At that moment, Jimmy arrives with the boat and takes everyone to safety. At the end of the episode, the general is getting told off by her superiors when one of her experiments, a super soldier, tries to attack her. Before he can harm her, Alex appears behind the soldier and tells the general that he will be helping her with her mission and introduces himself as Lex Luthor. To be continued. Thank you for watching. Check out these other videos and make sure to subscribe and tap the bell to be notified about our latest videos. See you next time.